Hello, it's Frank again. I've been with you all the way. Imagination is fun when it's free to run. Come on, we paint this a brand new day. Simply painting with Frank today.
Welcome everyone once again to Simply Painting. Well, we're in Maine in America. I'm on a tributary of Moosehead Lake. Yes, and it is so early in the morning. It's nearly yesterday. But anyway, Butch and I, Butch is kind enough to drive me about in this wonderful, luxurious boat. We're up here to see some moose. Yes, we're going to look at moose. And Butch tells me there's thousands of them. They're everywhere. There's footprints here. But unfortunately, so far, they seem to be either late risers or they're having breakfast or something, but we can't find any. But we will in a minute, so don't worry. But the other thing about it is, as we're here, I thought reflections. Now there's something that's beautiful to paint in watercolors, and you've got reflections everywhere here. The trees reflect into this beautiful water, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to paint a picture as well. But first we're going to see the moose, of course. So then it'll be back to the studio, and you and I together are going to paint some nice reflections in the water. So well, I have to say, Butch, you were right. There are moose in this place. I was beginning to disbelieve him. Well, bye-bye, Horace. Nice to see you. Hope you enjoyed your breakfast. I can go for mine now. Yeah. Butch promised me, you see, we'd see you, and we did. He was right, yeah. He's coming back. I thought he was a friendly kind of a... There he is. He's having a look at me. Good morning, Horace. Nice, yes. Okay, Horace. How about... I wonder, could you race those? Have we ever tried that, no? Some kind of a racing moose, yes. Look at that. Ah, whoa. Boy, oh boy, it's deep. Hello there once again. Nice of you to join me back here in the warmth of my studio. Yeah, it was cold in Moose Lake. Oh, you've no idea. We had a ski outfit on us and I was still freezing to death. However, we got a nice picture for you to paint. But first, let's run through quickly the materials. And this time we need 6 watercolors. They are alizarin crimson, cobalt blue, burnt umber, lemon yellow, light red, and raw sienna. We've got the 3 brushes. We've got the large goat hair, we've got the baby goat hair, and we have the number 3 rigger. We have our tray to put the paints out on, and therefore we call it our palette, don't we? Yes. We got some water in our jug, some cloths to control the water on the brush, and a sheet of watercolor paper which measures 14 by 10. Therefore it's landscape, longwise. So let's have some more fun. Horizon, sky, middle and foreground, that's the way we're going to paint the picture. So first, without further ado, let's get our pencil on a straight edge and let's draw the horizon line. And if we look at the picture, we'll see that the horizon line is almost, but not quite, halfway up or over halfway down the picture. All the paper. Let's get a good bead on it now and draw it across. That's all the drawing we need, isn't it? Yes, we don't harp on the drawing too much. Put the old pencil away there and back to business, Miss Smith. Now, the sky this time is rather a peculiar colour, but you'll be surprised when you see what I'm going to do with it. But first of all, let's put out the paints. Otherwise, we won't be able to do anything, will we? Yes, Horace the moose. Well, a nice guy. It was a young moose. And let me tell you, we saw him twice, as you saw, but that's all. We spent we were hours out there, and we found one other moose later, that was it. And we saw some guys from the National Geographic magazine, yeah. Put those away, we're not going to use those this time. And it was really nice, we had a most enjoyable time. And I got to speak to him, as you saw, and he was actually right beside the boat at one stage. Yeah. So in case you just thought that we added him in afterwards, oh no, he was there, I tell you. Good swimmer too. Definitely swim for Ireland if he had a grandfather or something who came from Ireland. That's the rules, you see, in Ireland, yes. Okay, burnt umber we're putting out next. We've got 6 of them this time. So we try and put the colours together we're going to use together. So if we want to mix the red and the yellow together, well then we put them side by side. So we don't have to go all over the palette looking for them. Do you understand that? And put out a good dollop as well. Don't be mean with paint. I always keep saying that. Now we're ready to start off. Have a quick look back to the picture again. Now the sky in the morning there was kind of a pinky colour sky. It was an early morning scene, wasn't it? Yes, it was actually. Now, big brush. Now let's get some lemon yellow. We're going to put a light wash of lemon yellow over the whole thing, yeah. I know, we should actually start at the top. I'm so used to painting lemon yellow from the bottom that I started at the bottom. So I suggest you start from the top and come down. You don't have to go right down to the horizon line, and the reason for that is that we have the riverbank there, so we don't need to paint it in just yet. There you go, that's fine. Now we start adding in the other colours. And we first of all add in some light red and some alizarin crimson, which gives us a nice winey kind of a colour, doesn't it? But keep it faint this time. Don't have it too strong now. See, we only want to just to take any of that. That's nice colour, isn't it? That's that nice milky colour we've got. Kind of a warm colour. Can't say the same for the day it was, although it did warm up, of course, when it got a little dark. Or as the day wore on, it got a little warmer. But it was the autumn, of course. Lovely place. Moosehead Lake, yes. And that river goes on for miles and miles and miles. Now, I've got a mixture of the alizarin crimson and the blue. So I'm getting a kind of a winey kind of a colour. I'll put a little bit more blue into that, just a tiny bit. Let's have a look. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Now let's put some of that. See, it's a nice pinky, lovely colour, isn't it? That pink's beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Now, I hope you can actually... Look at that now. How's that? That's very... There we are, we've got it nice and dry. Now, something to be aware of is don't ever put the hairdryer too near the picture, otherwise you'll blow it all over the place. I'm inclined to have to do it in a bit of a hurry here. I would suggest you might take it on a lower heat. Don't take it full blast. Yeah, there's several notches on your hairdryer. Of course you can wait and let it dry naturally. Don't need a hairdryer at all, do you? Now let's have a little look. See, I think our next move now is we're going to start to put in some of this background. You see, we're into the middle ground now. I'm taking some of the raw sienna and mixing it in with that mixture we have in the centre, which is a mixture of the blue and the red, isn't it? Alizarin crimson and cobalt blue. And then I'm just going to have a little... that's nice and faint. And these are little faint trees way in the distance. Yeah, they're miles away. Few there. Nah, put another few there. You can please yourself. See, the brush does it, you see, for you. You see the way it gives the impression of the tops of the trees, doesn't it? And I think that's really enough there. Now we go down a bit that way. And there we are. We've put in the little background pieces. So now we need to dry that again. Lots of drying in this picture. That's goody now. Now it's nice and dry. Yes. You know, the funny thing is, when you start to paint, one of the things that you learn is that you begin to see nature for the first time. If you'd come up that lake that morning with us now, you'd start to see things that you'd never see before. That's what painting does for you. And if you like to take photographs, I promise you that if you paint a little, you will improve out of all proportion, because what you start to do is you start to see things as you would with the painter's eye, so to speak, the artist's eye. Now what I'm doing next is, do you see the trees there? I'm going to put them in where they should be. Now there's one fella about there, and up he goes. Now it's not too strong, and he goes right up like that. They're just like kind of, see, wobbly. Don't make them like telegraph poles. They were never intended to be. Although lots of trees end up with being telegraph poles, I suppose, don't they? Yeah, it's a shame. There you go. There's two. Now, next is I put one in, where was that one? About here somewhere? Yeah, it's a wobbly. Comes out, it's leaning out that way. You see, by having them all leaning in different directions, much better than just having them all standing up straight. Like, there's one in the middle here, isn't there? Yes, that's a big one. Goes right up almost to the top of the page. Try to have it that you fill the picture with your points of interest. Don't have them too small. Don't be afraid of them. There's another one there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and these here are just bushes. See that? That's simple now, isn't it? I'm going to finish the top bit, and then we'll get at the bottom bit, if you like. So now the next thing is we're going to put in this riverbank. You see the way it's nice, and there's nice dark bits in it. So it's kind of in like that, round the trees. See, paint around the trees. This is a burnt umber raw sienna mixture with the baby goat hair brush. But I'm serious about that. If you start to take photographs, you'll be amazed how much better you'll be as a photographer if you paint a little bit. Now let's see what we got next. Right along here now, that comes down like that, see, and then there's a good strong one there. I like that. That's the real point of interest in this piece. Now to get a good strong piece of paint, you need the brush to be dry. Let's put it in there like that. We can maybe come back on here a little later. Now we're carrying on right across there. Put a little bit of the light red in, because that goes kind of up there like that. See, all the way around the trees. We'll put in the leaves and the branches now in a minute. Yeah, just let's. So you see, you can see the shape we're creating now. Now we've got to go over here and put these trees in. Let's do that. I think we switch to the big brush. Go on. Just to be different. Yeah, to show you. You can do it with both brushes, but the big one is. Now the colour is not too strong, so keep it. Don't let it get too strong on you. Test, and then up we go. Maybe that's not quite strong enough now, is it? I mean, it might be a bit weak there. Yeah, I think I'd like a little stronger than that, wouldn't you? Always safe though, if you've been nice and light, you can always go darker. The other way around, not so handy. See that? Now just for devilment this time we'll use the old nail. Go on, let's put a couple. We didn't do it in the picture itself, but I thought we might be nice. Now, the main trees. Now, if you notice, they're a tiny bit stronger. That's one, and the other one. It's only the corner of the brush doing this, isn't it? It kind of paints it for you, if you give it a chance. Yeah? And there we go, that's one side. Now the other. Do the middle fella first, come on. Pull him out like that. He goes right out of the page. He's a big bush, this fella, isn't he? See him? Try the small fella. Come on. Switch to the small brush, just for the fun of it. Just to show you can do it with both of them. Now these were kind of pine trees things, weren't they? So they do kind of stick out each side of the thing a bit like that, don't they? And we got one more then. And then you nearly have half the picture painted, haven't you? Up like that. Now, just a little bit of darkness here and there. A little bit there, a little bit there. And now we're coming on down towards the riverbank. So let's, I think we're going to switch to the big brush. Any chance you get, use the big brush. We have a bad habit, all of us indeed, if you put a big and a small brush, we'll slowly edge, kind of vegetate towards the small brush and be enough. No time at all here, you'll be, everything has been painted with the small one. So let's not do that. Now I'm right on the riverbank, see it? Which is on the horizon line, yeah. And these are kind of reeds and rushes on the way it comes down. Now, there's a funny little colour there. When you see this, with the small brush, take a little bit of the blue. Then just kind of feed it in there. And it gives a kind of a shadowy effect. See it? Not nice. That's just cobalt blue. Just not too strong, though. Now I think we got to do a little bit of drying because we got to get the other half of this painting done. Otherwise, we'll be standing there looking at one another. Let's do the bottom half now. Again, little touch of the old lemon yellow. Exactly the same as you painted the sky. All you're doing is you're repeating exactly what's up on top, down the bottom. Isn't that what it is? So there's the first bit. And then we add in the kind of the red, which is the alizarin crimson, and of course the blue, which is the cobalt. Hold out there, test a little bit. That's fine. Let's give it a few swishes of that now. There you go. Look at that. Lovely water, huh? Now I think I'll be happy with it. Actually, I may have painted that with downward strokes, believe it or not. But it doesn't matter. You can do them either ways. So it's up to yourself. But you could actually go downward. Let's try that. That's grand. Now, we're ready now to start putting in the reflections, yes. Actually, something which is a point of interest, which I think is worth mentioning, and that is that if you're framing this picture, I picked a very simple wooden frame, which I use for them all, or nearly all of them. That is raw sienna, a little bit of light red in it, which is exactly the same as what we used. Now, the riverbank all the way across gets it in there, you see that? And it goes up like that, doesn't it, down like that. We're just repeating. If you want, and it is, lots of people do it, just turn the whole thing upside down, turn the page right around, and put in exactly the same. I'm painting upside down. You don't have to do this. You can actually just reverse it, that's all, yeah. See? But a simple frame is a good idea, just a simple wooden frame. And you can use it over and over and over and over again. For as long as you want to paint, you can take a picture. I change around. I find that when I get to Christmas time, what I do is I take out the pictures around, take them out of the frame, and put in some Christmassy scenes. And then, of course, at different times of the year, then I change them. Not a good idea. That's simple. Now, I'm just dotting that down. We'll even put the little scrapes in, look. See? Beginning to fill up now nicely, isn't it? Now we got the trees to put in next. Very same, no difference. The only thing is they reflect, if they're shaped kind of this way, you've got to put them in the same way. This one here is kind of like that, isn't it? The other one is Now where'd it be going now? It reflects this kind of way, so it goes like that, doesn't it? And then it goes out that way a bit. This is the tree stump. No, it's not a tree stump, is it? It's the whole tree. Now this one here goes this way. Here we've got some new paint. Can't paint without paint. This is the rigger brush, by the way. Handy for just putting in the outline first of all, and then the other one goes that way. So you got 3 of them there, right? Now they don't have to be exactly the same. It's nice if they're near enough. They represent pretty well what's there. I'm just going to put a little bit more in there. You see the way there's a reflection in the back there, and then we've got a dark on this fella here. Anyway, I must tell you, you heard me mention, I think in an earlier program, your parent, if you were watching, Sargent. He was an American painter. Yeah. Well, not only was he a famous portrait painter, but he was a great watercolorist, and he loved doing it, and he painted lots and lots of landscapes in watercolor. Because as he said, and as I said, every time he painted a portrait, he lost a friend. Not that he was a bad painter, it's just that he refused to follow the norm and give them nice features when they didn't have them. He painted you as you saw it. So there, look, what I'm doing now, you see I'm putting in all the, reflecting everything that's there. See, so all of a sudden this begin to make a little sense, isn't it? Now I still haven't put in my finishing touches here, so let me get at some of them now. The trees, they weren't too strong. Big brush. Now let's see, now we go that way. See that? And then we have the middle one here. We're kind of working upside down, as you probably gather, but the brush does it for you. It's great. 2. Then we have this fella here. And the big one. Much easier from the other way around. I promise you, if you turn this upside down, you'll find it an awful lot easier, but it would mean me untangling the whole thing, and everybody here would have difficulty following it. You know, they have difficulty following it as it is. So imagine if I turned it upside down, the havoc I'd cause. I'd be told off, yes. Reflections are great fun. They're very simple. And if you do one of these and you bring it home, you know what's going to happen? I make people paint one of these things when they come to my classes. They bring it home, and what's the first thing the folks say to them, their friends, their husbands, everybody else? You didn't do that. That's what they always say. But you did, yeah. Now, have a look at the picture for a minute again. You'll notice there are some little kind of marks on the page, let's call it. They are, I'm imagining, little eddies that run across. Now, what I need to do that is little wind movements across the water. And it gives the impression of water as well. I've dried the big brush really well. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the paper. It's just like a chisel. It's really, really, can you see it there? Really fine, thin. Now, one goes about here, so I'm just going to drag it kind of across the page. That's not working yet, is it? No, well, it will, don't worry. That's better now. Now, we're going to put one in here where you'll see it. It's a bit difficult to see it just yet, but you will. Now, put one here. See, what I'm doing is I'm actually taking out some. Now, if you've difficulty and you can't see it, you get an ordinary piece of tissue paper and you just rub it across and it'll lift it out because you've only wet that spot. See that? More than one way to skin a cat, you know. Now, I put another one in just here. Now, all I've done is I've just wet it, right? Give it a couple of minutes for it to loosen up the old pigment, and then with a nice piece of clean paper, run it across, and lo and behold, you get that kind of broken watery effect. Isn't that a good idea? Right. 2 things more to do. One is, the bird, Joe the bird. Stick him up there somewhere. Then get the old pen down the bottom here and sign the masterpiece. I hope you're following this, and I hope you're doing it, and I hope you're knocking out these pictures as I am. Now, on with the mount. And from Frank Clarke, once again, I must say to you, as we do in Ireland, Slán Leat means goodbye. Till we meet again, Have a go at this. You too will have some more fun.
For more information, visit our website at www.simplypainting.com.